The Downtown Rams podcast is brought to you by Rams On Demand, Seat Giant, Vibe 305, and RWO, Rams World Order. Now enjoy the show.
Down the middle, to the end zone, caught by Brandon Cooks. Shoot your arrows.
It's picks. Nickel Roby Coleman
throws. Enzo caught, touchdown. Tyler Higbee. Cooper Kupp walks it out of the air and gives the Rams the lead. LaMarcus Joyner returns to the lineup with an interception in London. 35-30. Robert Wood, first down 20. 10-5. Touchdown. LA. No, it's Goff who keeps it. And Goff goes crashing into the end zone. Aaron Donald almost beat the football there and comes away with his third sack of the afternoon. Met immediately and sacked. Corey Littleton, have yourself a day. And he gets gobbled up. Savage has to eat it as Michael Brockers picks up the sack. He's decked by Ebu Tom. Picked off. Marcus Peters strutting his stuff. Mark Barron the last 4 weeks has been a Pro Bowler. Oh, it's picked off on the play by John Johnson. After the throw, and we mentioned that is his 8th completed pass in his career. Cousins sacked. Ndamukong Suh. Of all the guys, it's the rookie John Franklin Myers who knocks it out of Cousins' right hand. Todd Gurley, 20, 10, Gurley for MVP. Touchdown LA.
Welcome back, guys, to another Downtown Rams podcast episode. It is 163, and we have 3 awesome interviews for you. We have Charlotte offensive lineman Nate Davis, we have Temple defensive lineman Michael Dogbe, and of course, last but not least, we do have the Northwestern cornerback Montre Hartage coming up. All those interviews, and that's really going to be the show. So we hope you guys enjoy, and here is the show. All right, guys, joining the show, Temple defensive lineman Michael Dogbe. How's it going, man? Thank you so much for joining the show.
Going great. I appreciate you guys having me.
Of course. We're big fans, and we're so excited that you're here, and just wanted to thank you for taking the time to come on and talk to us for a bit. And just to get this rolling, I'll start off with what made you decide to play the game of football when you were growing up?
It was something I was always interested in. I started playing in the 5th grade, and, just about all my friends were playing. And, I'd always see them wear their game day jerseys to school on a Friday. And, I was just so interested in playing. One of my good friends, Tommy, he introduced me to the game, and, we'll play in the backyard and stuff. And, for me being a, decent-sized 5th grader, they all, advised me to try out for the team and, come out and play. So I had begged my parents to play, but it wasn't until, mid-season, my 5th grade year, that they allowed me to play. And ever since then, I haven't stopped.
I love it, man. There's always got to be a starting spot, but, there's also, a place that kind of goes in between that, and that's, between the NFL and when you first, pick up a football and decide to start playing the sport, you have to pick a college, at least most cases. You decided to choose to go to Temple, and I just want to know, how you made that decision and why you ended up going to Temple.
For me, Temple was a school that, recruited me, really hard. They recruited me all from my sophomore all the way up to my senior year, even when I did commit. I love that. I love that they believed in me. I love that they stuck by me every step of the way throughout the process. And they were really the first team to believe in me. So I decided to commit to them after my junior year, going into my senior year. And ever since then, through all the offers that came through, I just stuck with them.
Yeah, that's awesome. And something I like to ask is, how would you pitch Temple to incoming recruits or to somebody who's considering playing there?
Temple is a place where, first and foremost, you're going to get a great education. You're going to meet great people, and you're going to get coached. You're going to get coached really hard, and you're going to get an opportunity to play some big-time competition. There's a culture there that, the players, had sent from way back when Muhammad Wilkerson played. It's a great tradition that we keep to this day. But you're going to get every opportunity you can, just like as if you were going to any other school. Temple's a great place to play, and, I have no regrets.
Yeah, without a doubt, obviously starting from humble beginnings and you're trying to break into the league. I want to know who the toughest player you went up against in college was.
I went up against, being a fifth-year senior, I went up against a lot of, tough guys. And I'd say for me, my senior year, going against Chris Lindstrom from Boston College, he's a, very talented offensive guard. And, me and him, we just went at it all game. And, I really respected his style of play.
Yeah, that's awesome. He's a guy who is definitely a talented player and someone who a lot of people have their eye on as well for this upcoming draft. And, another opportunity that you got was playing, in the Shrine game. So I just kind of want to know your thoughts about that and what that experience was like.
The Shrine game was an awesome opportunity for me. Not only just to play football and present myself in front of scouts, but also just in visiting the Shriners Hospital, just meeting those kids. It was a very humbling experience. But as far as football, getting the opportunity to be coached by NFL coaches, and just being able to show what I have to offer. Coming from a school like Temple, a lot of people question the competition. So, for me, it was just a statement that I can, go out there and play with just about anybody in the country. So it was just a great opportunity to showcase my talent and, to receive NFL coaching.
Yeah, and kind of, doubling off that with the Shrine game, I asked you who your toughest player was in college, and you mentioned, Lindstrom. But who would you say was the toughest you went up against at the Shrine game?
That was a real nice O-line. I would say the guard, I forget his first name, but the guard from Georgia and the guard from NC State, those two guys are some real good started offensive guards. Just playing inside, they were real strong and they had real good feet.
Yeah, and another question I have is, like you said, you went up against some good guys, in the Shrine game and definitely during your college career, but who are you most excited to go up against in the NFL?
It's a question of, just about what team you can play for and stuff like that. But, everybody always talks about, the Cowboys O-line. I just want to go against the best of the best and, see how I do. I want to go against quarterbacks like Brady and stuff like that. That's always a dream of every defensive lineman. But yeah, just about finding the best of the best and trying to go against them.
Yeah, I mean, it's always funny, asking somebody that type of question because they always have an answer. Like you mentioned Brady, and like I just think it's funny how you have one name or two names that really stick out to you, and then there's always a reasoning for it. What would you say is your biggest strength as a player?
For me, I don't really rely on talent and stuff because that's God given. I rely on effort and playing physical and just being a student of the game. For me, being a weight room guy, I've been able to establish a foundation in the weight room, and my strength numbers, my weight room numbers are pretty up there. So I'm a guy who uses his strength to his ability, and I'm a guy who's an effort guy. I'm never going to give up on a play. I'm going to chase stuff backside, and I'm going to give it my all.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, another question, would be, what do you think you most need to improve on? And, and what are you most working towards before this upcoming draft?
I would say just being a tweener, a guy who's about 285, 286, being a guy who can play defensive end and D tackle. Playing the run inside, just working on my leverage, just because, you're taking on more bodies, you've got double teams and, all kinds of different blocks inside. So just playing with better leverage, increasing the flexibility in my hips so I can stay low. That's something I've been trying to really work on throughout this whole process.
Yeah, and obviously, there's strengths, there's weaknesses. I'm really, interested to know, your desired role in the NFL, because oftentimes I think, such as yourself, I don't know if you saw, and you probably did, but Pro Football Focus, they came out and they put that, it was like the most pressures in your conference, and of course you led all defensive interior linemen. Even over somebody like Ed Oliver, you led them all in pressures. So obviously, props to you there. But you're kind of labeled as a tweener, which I don't really like that word, because it's like, putting a label on a player. I mean, what is Aaron Donald then? You know what I'm saying? So, the undersized label is kind of silly for me. But what's your desired role at the next level, Michael? In the NFL.
As far as what position I would play, or
just like
me,
your desired role, like what you would prefer to do. Whether, I mean, obviously you'd want to start, but like, what is your like preferred, I guess, specialty? Play in the NFL.
I would say for me, I like to see myself as a guy who can pass rush inside. I believe if you can get interior pressure, you're going to be able to help out and cause a lot of disruption at a high rate. So I feel as though any team that, takes me, any team that, drafts me, I'll be a guy who could, create that inside pressure and really get that quarterback off his launching pad. So I'm a guy who I think, I can be a pass rush specialist.
I like that. I like that a lot, and I definitely see it. Obviously, it doesn't mean you don't have room you can grow. As a pass rusher, as a run stopper, as an all around player. But I do like that you already have kind of that mastered position, and you'll be able to instantly go in and rush the passer. I think that's key. But kind of going off that, describe your arsenal as a pass rusher.
So for me, I always look at where the back is, especially when I'm at a 3 technique. When the back's on my side, I instantly put in my head, I have a two-way go. So I was going from B to A. So what I like to do is I like to set the guard up. I like to get 2-3 steps upfield, and then give him a quick shake and swipe into the A gap. Usually catches a lot of guards who don't, especially if they don't have good feet off guard. So I like rushing off the A gap, flipping my hips on the center. Because most likely when the back's to your side, that center is going to help the other guard on the other side. So that A gap comes wide open. I like using the club rip. Sometimes when I feel myself getting stuck, I like spinning back. I often find myself in the lap of the quarterback. And sometimes I just like, the regular bull. I like creating extension, getting the guards off me, the centers off me. So I like to switch it up, to keep everybody guessing.
And I gotta ask, we are a Rams podcast. Have you met with the Los Angeles Rams?
I would say down at the Shrine game, I met with just about every team, so I got an opportunity to talk with them, and just simple interview questions, just getting to know me as a person and as a football player.
All right,
that's awesome.
Yeah, and then I forgot to ask you earlier, and it's something I ask everybody, but. Obviously, going all the way back to when we were talking about, what made you want to play football, I mean, you probably watched the NFL. Who was your favorite NFL player growing up?
So for me, growing up in North Jersey, I watched a lot of Michael Strahan when he was with the Giants. Just growing up and seeing him in that one Super Bowl, I would watch him all the time. But it wasn't, for me to really have that desire to play. I remember my little league coach, me just being a Giants fan and not knowing too much about Lawrence Taylor. One day after practice, gave me a cassette tape or like a little DVD on Lawrence Taylor, and he told me to watch it and come the next day and tell him what I thought about it. And it was just a Lawrence Taylor highlight, about his whole motive on how to play the game. And ever since I saw that as a little kid, I just had a desire to be a defensive player, a guy who would just go out there and have fun. I saw the way he played the game, and, that just wanted me to play just like he did on the field. So when I got that was really what kind of led me to, want to play in the NFL and, set my own brand of how I play.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, I watched the film, and there's a lot to like with you. I mean, we talked a little bit off the air, and I'm a big fan of yours. With that being said, I'm just gonna say I think it was kind of I won't say it's a joke, but I do think they missed the mark there, inviting you to the NFL Combine. Now, how do you take something like that? Because obviously you know how good you are. You know that you're the one putting in work constantly, and the NFL Combine, it doesn't mean you're necessarily going to get drafted. So, I want to know how you felt when you found out that you weren't going, and, how you feel kind of, looking at that, rear view mirror onto bigger, better things, or, how do you kind of process all that?
Yeah, at first, I was a bit disappointed just because, you watch the Combine every year, especially as a kid growing up, and you envision yourself, having a great college career and ultimately showcasing your talent at the Combine. But not to I can't be mad at anybody. Everything happens for a reason. And I just take it as, I got to work 10 times harder. I have an opportunity at, Temple's Pro Day. And all I can do is control what I can control. And, when Temple Pro Day comes, I got to just display my talents that way. I'm a guy who believes that I will be drafted. I'm a guy who believes I can be drafted. And, it's my job to show teams why, they should draft me. So, it was a quick thought, why I wasn't invited. But, I had to quickly put that behind me and just continue to work and not let it get to me.
Yeah, of course. And, I totally agree that, and I believe that you will be drafted and that you can be drafted and you're a super talented guy. And I have no doubt that you're going to impress at your pro day and that, a lot of people are going to be interested in taking you for their team. And, I just kind of final question here, just, from your standpoint, who is Michael Dogbe the person and who is he as a player?
As a person, Michael Dogbe is a guy who, enjoys making people happy, making people laugh. Just a real down-to-earth guy. I don't ask for much. I'm not really a materialistic guy. I just, like being around people, understanding different ways of life. And as a football player, I'm a guy who plays with passion. I'm an effort guy. I use physicality. I'm a student of the game. And I'm a guy who gives him his all. I love the fact that, football is such a team sport because there's nothing like being with a group of guys trying to accomplish a similar goal. And, I love that about football. I'm a guy who is going to, help lead a team and, just be a guy who everybody can rely on. And that's just me as a football player. I really just enjoy playing the game. And, if I'm blessed enough to play at the next level and continue to play, that'd be a great opportunity for me.
Oh yeah, it would. And I don't like saying it would because I do see you happening. I do see you making the NFL, and I'm a fan. I'm rooting for you. Let's stay in touch, and it's been a lot of fun, Michael.
Definitely, and I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, of course, we really appreciate it, and thank you so much. Can't say thank you enough.
Thank you.
All right, you take it easy and stay healthy, and we'll be in touch. Good luck the rest of the way, man.
Sounds good.
All right, guys, joining the podcast, Nate Davis, Charlotte offensive lineman. How's it going, man? Thanks for joining the show.
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, Nate, thanks for coming on. We were really excited that you agreed to come on. And I guess just to start this thing off, I just want to ask you at what age did you start playing football, and when was it that you knew that you wanted to do this maybe one day in the NFL?
I started playing when I was 7 years old. It's actually kind of a funny story because my best friend at the time was playing, and my mom took me out for one of the practices. I started watching. I looked over to my mom and said, "Mom, I kind of want to play this game. It looks kind of fun." So, ever since then, it kind of took off. But it really wasn't until I would say my sophomore year of college where I really figured out that I have a chance to, make it to the NFL one day.
Yeah, no, that's pretty funny that you had that experience, and You just kind of look over your mom. Yeah, I want to play this game someday. But, obviously you got to start somewhere. Growing up, you probably watched a lot of NFL. Who was your favorite player?
It was Michael Vick. I was a big Falcons fan. I wanted to be a quarterback like everybody else.
Yeah, Michael Vick was definitely a guy that I enjoyed watching growing up as well, and who had a large fan base, and everyone loved to watch him play, and certainly a special player. But why? So when it came for the time for you to, decide to play in college, or maybe you had some colleges looking at you, what made you ultimately choose to play for Charlotte?
It was really the recruiting. The guy who recruited me was Coach Ratliff. He passed away when I was a sophomore in college, but when he was coming down, he just felt like a second father right away. These are guys that not only care about you on the field, but they also care about you off the field. And that's, not a lot of programs do that.
Yeah, certainly, that must have been tough for you. How do you move past something like that, having, such a close connection with your coach?
Really the help of my teammates. Like I said, he's a second father. He not only my second father, but, a lot of people on the team felt the same way about him. Really, it's just a team effort, kind of, because everyone had to come together. It was a tough season. I really just got to say my teammates helped me out with that one.
Yeah, and certainly from reading about him and reading about that story, it seems like he was a really special guy who the team was really devastated to lose. But it sounds like you guys all rallied around each other and were able to move on, using each other's strength. And with all of that, I guess, what would you say is probably your favorite memory from your entire time playing college football?
I would say it was my junior year, or actually, I'm sorry, my sophomore year, where we won the first ever conference game in our school history, because we're a brand new school when it comes to football. Just seeing everybody's face and, being part of that locker room after the game, that's something I'll never forget.
Yeah, I mean, that must have been pretty crazy. And, obviously, new school and everything. And, for football, that must be, something else. But, going on, who was your biggest competitor that you went up against in college? I know, obviously, you're a new football school, but I'm sure there was a lot of, really intriguing talent that you faced. So who would you say that was?
It was Larry Ogunjobi, defensive tackle for the Cleveland Browns. He was drafted in the third round. Going against him, definitely opened my eyes up to like the different type of speed that the game has.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely a great player, and I'm sure it was interesting to compete against him. But I guess kind of going with that sentiment, what would you say is your biggest strength as a player and something that you feel is a big contributor to your success and a big part of your game?
I would say my versatility. As you guys know, I was a three-year starter at right guard. And then my senior year, they moved to right tackle. And something that I definitely didn't expect, but something that I learned that I could do, which was pretty cool. And, my ability, I think, to pass block, to run block, you can pin and pull me, you can throw me in space, doesn't matter. I'm still going to be, the great player that I am.
Yeah, and something you just mentioned was that move from guard to tackle. What went through your mind when that happened? Were you a little bit skeptical, or were you like, okay, let's do it, just ready for whatever challenges?
Yeah, I just I really trusted my coaches. I knew they're not going to put me in a bad spot. It really did end up working out in the best way because it was for the team. So I really can't. There's no complaints about it. Very happy I did it.
Well, it definitely seemed to work out for you. A lot of people are really excited about you and have really followed your career. And would you say that there's anything that you would like to improve on, or anything that, going towards the NFL draft, something that you've kind of set your sights on to improve on and to get better at? Really,
probably my fundamentals, because the NFL is a different game. you're going against men every single day, and some of the stuff you do in college you cannot get away with NFL. So just really, fine tuning some of the things I do on the field so I could become a good player in the NFL.
Yeah, in the NFL, you're going to go up against a lot of different guys, and I want to know who you're most excited to stonewall at the next level.
I had to say my former teammate, Larry Ogunjobi. Man, that'll be awesome.
That's a good one. And just piggyback off of that, with the NFL. Obviously we're a Rams podcast. Nate, I have to ask you: have the Rams met with you at all yet?
To be honest, I met with a lot of people at the recent Senior Bowl. Possibly could have been one of those teams, but I honestly have no idea. I'm pretty sure I did, though.
We hope that you did, and for our sake, we're just gonna pretend that you met with the Rams. But for the as far as the Senior Bowl goes, what was that like? Was showing up and getting to compete against guys from all over the country, and everybody is trying to make it to the NFL, and just taking in that whole experience. What was your favorite part about being at the Senior Bowl?
Really just being able to meet everybody. That was the Senior Bowl was really a blessing in my life because I got to see, how NFL practices were going to be like, the coaches, how the meetings were going to be, and really just meeting a whole bunch of people that are trying to do the same exact thing you are, see their mindset, see what they have to go through every single day. So it was just cool to meet everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually at the Senior Bowl. I never had a chance to meet you, unfortunately. Every time I went near you, you had a bunch of people surrounding you. And that's really just how it works, so I totally get it. Obviously, being at the Senior Bowl, you see last year somebody like Baker Mayfield, goes from the Senior Bowl to number 1 overall pick. Do you think, do you guys look at that at all? Do you look at the Senior Bowl as a huge opportunity, or, because I look at it like this, obviously it's an all-star game and it showcases all of your talents, and it's kind of an accomplishment in a sense. So how do you kind of balance out the enjoyment of it and then the business aspect of it?
It's really part of the game. You just got to understand that. But it's definitely one of those things where you do think about, the Baker Mayfields who came through and, got themselves up to that number 1 pick because, like myself, I came from a small school. Not many people knew about me going into the Senior Bowl, so it's just a great opportunity to showcase your abilities.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that, and I think just hearing what people have to say about the Senior Bowl, it seems like it's truly an incredible experience, and I'm sure that. And I guess to kind of wrap this up, who is Nate Davis as a person, and who is Nate Davis as a player?
As a person, is a completely different person off the field. Very quiet, just relaxed. I'm a homebody at heart. I'll just, kick my feet up, watch Netflix, watch Hulu, go fishing when I have the chance to. But on the field, it's a different story when I put my helmet on. Like I said, it's a man's game, dog eat dog world. So I'm going to be very physical. I'm going to be accountable to my teammates, to my coaches. I'm going to show up every single day. I'm not going to have those mental errors in the field because I understand, it's not just me that I'm trying to compete for. It's for the team too. Just someone that is going to be good in the locker room. Definitely somebody that you need in your team.
Hey, I think that's really key there. Obviously, everyone wants to talk about the talent on the field, but we've seen it before in the NFL. Guys that don't have the the likability and aren't liked by their coaches and their players and their staff. I mean, they don't really make it because you have to have a team that takes a chance on you. Real quick, I have to ask because we just had Colin Saunders on. And I know you were there, or you may not have been there at that moment when he did the backflip on the field. But do you have any crazy, talent that no one knows about? Kind of like how Colin could do a backflip at 322 pounds.
Yeah, definitely nothing like that. That's incredible. Seeing it in person too is different too. Because, like I said, that's just incredible. But I can't say I have anything like that I can do. I'm good at 2K. I could say that. No, I don't. I rarely lose in that game.
Yeah, hey, I mean that's impressive in its own right. I mean, I like to think I'm good at 2K until I play against somebody, and then I realize that I'm not as good as I thought I was. So I commend you on that, and that's certainly something that I'm working on myself.
I appreciate that.
Well, hey, I mean, Nate, it's been a lot of fun. Glad to have you on. We'll be rooting for you, and let's stay in touch.
All right, will do. Thank you again.
Absolutely.
Yep, thank you so much, Nate.
Take care, man.
All right, you too. Thank you, guys.
All right, guys, joining the podcast, Montre Hartage, cornerback, Northwestern. How's it going today, Montre? Thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, thank you, guys. It's going pretty good. Just kind of hanging out. I got some downtime right now, so why not?
Right. Yeah, I'm sure you've been pretty busy, just preparing, for the draft and everything coming up. So, yeah, like Jake said, just wanted to say thank you for coming on and get this thing rolling. And I guess the first question that I like to ask is, at what age did you start playing football, and when was it that you knew that you could play in the NFL one day?
Yeah, I started in like sixth grade. I actually wanted to start before that, but mom and my dad pretty much didn't allow me to until they felt like I was at a pretty decent size in order to handle the physicality and just the mental aspect of the game. Didn't really figure out that I actually, had a really good skill set until like ninth grade of high school. I just started seeing a lot of guys, like far as like peers, role models who were like seniors at the time, just really gave me a lot of confidence. And I don't know, I kind of just turned into a different player throughout high school and just became, who I am right now. So.
Yeah, without a doubt. And you mentioned role models, and I know, the first thing that comes up in a lot of guys' minds is, NFL role models and, players on their team and whatnot. But, growing up, did you have a favorite NFL player? And if so, who was it?
Yeah, well, since I'm from Georgia, big Falcons fan growing up. Just always loved Michael Vick. He was, every time he was on the TV, it was a show. So just having an opportunity to watch him play in my hometown and just be a superstar and just pretty much wanted to idol my game as far as just being explosive, just being a playmaker and different things like that. So I think he played a huge role, like just far as like just, I just want to be athletic and just go out there and win games for my teammates. So.
Yeah, and you mentioned you grew up in Georgia, but then you ended up playing football at Northwestern, and I watched a lot of Northwestern games. My grandfather lives in Chicago and watches them all,
okay.
and I spent a lot of time watching them and just kind of became kind of a fan of the school and the university and the team. So what was it that made you choose to play at Northwestern?
Yeah, so it was actually a crazy story. We first committed to Georgia Southern school in Statesboro, Georgia. Was really under-recruited. Got the opportunity to go to a few camps, but not many. Really just kind of bust on until the scene of football, like later on in my junior year, going to my senior year. So didn't really have a lot of offers. Got the late offer like 2 days before signing day. And then the day before signing day, I decommitted from Georgia Southern, committed to Northwestern, and enrolled later on that year. It was kind of nerve-breaking. Definitely made a business decision. It was something that obviously Northwestern, just the overall package that it entailed was so much more than just going out and not taking that opportunity. And yeah, just having an opportunity, I've been able to just kind of experience a new platform where I'm able to just learn and grow more as a football player and just overall human. So.
Yeah, no,
That's awesome.
Without a doubt, that's really cool. And going to Northwestern, I mean, obviously, there are a bunch of recruits that are coming and probably watched you, before you got there. What is your pitch if you had to make one for Northwestern? What's your pitch for incoming recruits to go to your school?
Yeah, I guess I would describe it as an unparalleled like dynamic of education, of like a prestigious education institution, and also like playing Big Ten football, so you get the best of both worlds. And I think that itself, as far as like Northwestern, it allows you to get a package of accumulated resources that you can able to develop as a person. So I think that's huge for anyone, whether you love football and after football you want to do something else with your career. Northwestern allows your goals to be pretty much obtainable.
Yeah, that's awesome. And just hearing things about Northwestern, not just from you, but from people I know who've gone there, and just looking into it, it just seems like a great school, and people really come away having had a great experience there, both athletic-wise and academic-wise. And I guess just kind of continuing with this talk about your college career, who would you say is the toughest guy that you played against in college?
Yeah, I've definitely played against a lot of talent. I'll have to say my 2017 year, it was my junior year, we played against Maryland. DJ Moore, pretty sure you guys have heard of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, pretty athletic receiver. Definitely one of those games where, I realized that, I wasn't where I wanted to be as a player, and just I wanted to learn more and just pretty much learn from my mistakes and just get better. Definitely one hell of a player. I recommend going to watch that tape if you guys have the opportunity to. But yeah, that's one player I want to get a rematch against. So hopefully down the line I can. So.
That's awesome. Without a doubt. I mean, he ended up, going in the first round, and whether you end up in Carolina or another team, I'm sure you'll get a crack at him. With that being said, you mentioned, the toughest player you went up against. I just want to know your thoughts, on Clayton Thorson, who was obviously the quarterback of the team that you played on, because I feel like draft nicks are kind of all over the map with him. We actually like him a lot. So, what are your thoughts on Clayton?
Just as far as his skill set, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, like playing, like having the opportunity to play side him, play on the same team, and his skill set.
Yeah, definitely a huge competitor. Guy who comes in every day and works. Just over the past season, his junior year, he obviously messed up his ACL, and just obviously watch him grow throughout that process. For me, it really inspired me to, to continue to work and kind of work every day, because I saw him just busting his ass and just out there, just very cheerful and just lively. And just watching him work, I really saw a lot of intangible skills that I didn't see out of him before then. Just as far as his playmaking ability, guy can throw the ball. Obviously, he's a quarterback. Makes a lot of savvy decisions. He's a guy who just wants to win. I think if any team picks him up, this upcoming draft, they're going to get a winner. So
for sure. He's a guy that I've talked about a lot on this show, and Jake has talked about as well, as a guy who I really like and one of my favorite quarterbacks in this upcoming draft. And I'm excited, to see where he goes and what he does. But I guess, kind of continuing along that, what was, you mentioned kind of a game that you wish you could have back in your college career, but what was your favorite game that you played in during your college career?
Yeah, favorite game. That's an interesting one. If I had to think, I'd probably say this recent year just playing Purdue home, well, at their place. Opener, it was just electrifying. Purdue, like, sold out, like, unexpected, but definitely came off a good year, so we expected, like, just a ton of energy from that city in general, Lafayette, Indiana. And just going out there and just, play my last home game as a Wildcat. My last first game as a Wildcat. It was a great experience, and just going out there and just putting on a show. And just the energy that we displayed throughout the game was just very, I don't know, like, memorable. I don't think that's probably a game that I'm not gonna just kind of just cash in and just say, like, oh, we played a ton of games. I don't remember any. I think that's one I'll definitely remember. And also just the Big Ten championship game. Just playing in, like, that domain was just huge. First time in, like, program history. So just those two games. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, obviously, college is over, and, it's the end of kind of your first chapter, I guess, or your second, and on to your next. And, with that being said, I do want to talk about you as a prospect, because I'm really impressed with what you bring to the table. And, I think you have unbelievable ball skills. To the point where I would say you're among the best in this draft. And I'm sure you would probably agree. With that being said, what would you say is your biggest strength as a player?
Yeah. Definitely got a lot of feedback from teams. Teams really like my man-to-man coverage and things like that. Able to play physical, able to play bump and run with guys. So just always been able to just mirror a guy, whether it's downfield, whether it's short routes, intermediate, and just being around the ball. So like you said earlier, just having those ball skills and also instincts. So just being able to just glue my eyes to the ball and just make plays.
Yeah, that's awesome. And just to echo off what Jake said, I agree. I think that just watching you've got incredible ball skills, and you certainly impress when you look at the tape, that's for sure. And a question that I like to kind of ask guys is, what do you most want to improve on, going towards the draft? Is there anything that you've kind of, or any goals you've set for yourself to improve on?
Yeah, definitely. I think technique is always important. I think that's essential at any position. So that's something huge that I've been working on with a ton of guys. My trainer, Tommy. So we've just been working, also just working on top speed. So the 40 is coming up for the combine, so really working speed. A lot of teams want to see my top speed. So I just want to display that talent and, show guys that I can perform at any level. So definitely technique is, the first thing I want to definitely show, as far as, like, my mechanics and, just my confidence that, I can play with the best. Once that, time is presented and, once a team wants to invest into me. So.
Yeah, I definitely hear you there. And, I know you mentioned it earlier with DJ Moore, but I'm really interested to know who you are most excited to go up against in the NFL.
In the NFL, definitely anyone, but, like, definitely a primetime player, someone like, Julio Jones, guys like that, guys like Edelman. If you see players who, other corners or nickels or safeties, whenever they have big games and they have it against those different primetime players, like, their names are just roaming across social media, whatever that may be. That pub that pub is really, electrifying and something that you want to always keep on your resume, because that allows you to grow as a player. As a player, you're able to look at that film and to learn from those mistakes and learn how you can better put yourself in a more optimistic position for the next week, next rep, whatever that may be. So just having an opportunity to play against primetime players such as Julio Jones.
Which quarterback do you most want to pick off in the NFL?
Oh, that's a great one. I think a lot of people would say like Tom Brady, but I think I'm interested in Aaron Rodgers. I think he just displays a different skill set that, he makes a ton of plays on the run. Last minute, actually, just like a last minute, like he's like trying to throw a Hail Mary, like he's trying to get the win. It's like tied up, going into overtime, and I just pick it off and take it back for like 99 yards. And I don't know. That'll be like something amazing. So if I had to choose, I would choose a situation like that or scenario. So yeah.
I definitely hear you there. I mean,
yeah.
He's I don't think people realize. I mean, he's somebody that manipulates the pocket so well. You can never tell what he's actually going to do. So, you're watching the film and you're like, all right, so he's kind of rolling out to his right, so it looks like the pocket's about to collapse, but he does it in a way that he's still able to get right back in the pocket and kill you with it. But yeah, just
absolutely
unbelievable what he does and what he puts on film. So maybe you'll get that opportunity. He doesn't throw many receptions, so you could definitely say you're one of the elite to pick him off. But with that being said, you were a 2-star recruit. How do you view something like that at this stage of your career? Now that I know you haven't accomplished anything in the NFL, but in a lot of senses, you haven't been drafted yet, but this is an accomplishment in itself to even be in this position because, just saying that you're a 2-star is basically saying, okay, you're kind of out, you're over there. You're not Montre Hartage, you're a cornerback. And to me, I think you've absolutely, risen above that. So like, how do you look at something like that, now finishing Northwestern and everything?
Yeah, well, I've always known that as a person. I had talent, I had a skill set. I was a confident player. There was different circumstances that, I was unfortunately, were not able to overcome before, obviously, college. So, I just go to work every day and always stand confident, in what I believe in as far as, like, values and different things like that. So now, I've put in so much work. I've had so much resources, or I've accumulated so much resources that I'm able to confidently say that any opponent that I may face, obviously I respect everyone I face, but whenever I'm out there, it's just going to battle, understanding that, whatever I've instilled as far as like my craftsmanship, as far as, just been a very, I guess, polished individual, I'm just able to always stay confident no matter what the label or what the status may say. So it's pretty much like under radar, underdog. I just always have that underdog mentality where I'm just going to always get the work done no matter what. So I think that's been a huge thing just as far as like preparing for my opponents, just understanding that if they may, underestimate me, then it's their loss. And just remaining confident and just having a savvy approach to it. So,
right, totally. And the question that we got to ask, because we're a LA Rams podcast, but have you met with the Los Angeles Rams?
So I went to the East and West Shrine game 4 weeks ago, maybe a month now. Not even sure. But yeah, I had the opportunity to talk with some scouts for the LA Rams. It was pretty general information. They just wanted to get to know me and stuff like that. But I'm actually looking forward to talking with them more at the combine. So hopefully we'll see.
Well, we certainly hope so. We'd love to hear that you talk to them at the combine.
Yeah, that'll be good stuff if I do. So we'll see.
Yeah, and you mentioned, the Shrine game, and I forgot to mention that earlier. What was that whole experience like?
Yeah. It was definitely great. Got an opportunity to go to Tampa, St. Pete, Florida for a week. Had an opportunity to get coached by some assistant coaches from the league. obviously new players from every school you could think about. I had a great time. Learned, what the NFL was going to be like at the next level. Just trying to understand the system, trying to understand the format, the concepts, and different things like that. But yeah, at the end of the day, I had a great time, and I just wanted to display my skill set down there, and I think, I was able to do that, which is a ton of great guys around there as far as, like, players and coaches. They treated us, first class. It was a great experience.
That's awesome. Yeah, we've heard a lot of cool stories from that East-West Shrine game, and sounded like a really special experience, and I hope to be able to go either next year, hopefully next year. I've got my fingers crossed, but I guess just to kind of wrap it up, I guess, who would you say is Montre Hartage as a player, and who is he as a person?
As a player, you're going to get a confident, a person who's willing to work, a person who's willing to prepare at any means, doesn't matter who or what the opponent is. And you're just going to get a leader, a guy who may not be as vocal, but leads by action, a guy you can trust, a guy, you're willing to just depend on, a guy who's willing to sacrifice. As a person, you're just going to get a cool, laid-back guy, a guy who doesn't really do much, a guy who spends a lot of time listening to podcasts, a guy who also likes to, learn more about life and, what it has in store. So just understanding just complex issues and different prevalent things that we in society, may just be experiencing with every day. And last but not least, you're going to get a guy who likes photography and just loves nature. But, and one more thing, hopefully to be a great family man. So just trying to display those values early by just being honest with myself. So that's all I got.
Yeah, we love it. We really appreciate you taking the time. It's been a lot of fun, and we'll be rooting for you. And let's stay in touch.
Definitely, I appreciate you all.
Yep, thanks so much for coming on, Montre. We'll keep in touch, and super excited to see what you do. I can't wait to watch you at the Combine, and I know that you'll have a successful career, and we'll be following you. We'll be fans for life.
Sounds great. I appreciate it.
All right, take it easy, man.
Yep, see you, Montre.
All right, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, folks, that's the show. Hope you guys enjoyed. It was a lot of fun interviewing all of these guys. Michael Dogbe, very, very responsive on social media, very nice guy, and I wish him the best of luck. Nate Davis as well, and of course Montre Hartage, all just great dudes, and we wish them the best of luck in the NFL draft and wherever their path leads. So once again, hope you guys enjoyed. I think all three of these guys could be in play for the Rams. I think when you look at, offensive line, I don't think you can ever have too many offensive linemen, as far as depth-wise. So I think the Rams could be interested in somebody like Nate Davis out of Charlotte. And then, of course, Michael Dogbe. When you look at the defensive line, I'm not really sure, that they're fully set there. And, they do have guys they have to sign, and there's a chance that they'll let some of them go. So Dogbe could definitely be, a two-down pass rusher there. And then, of course, Montre Hartage, the cornerback position. Aqib Talib's older. The only guy signed through 2021 on the roster, at cornerback is Nickel Roby-Coleman. So they're absolutely going to be looking at cornerbacks in this draft. And, I would not be surprised if Montre Hartage was one of them. So once again, this has been the Downtown Rams podcast, episode 163. Couldn't have done it without my partner in crime, Alexis Kraft. It was a lot of fun interviewing these guys. And once again, we'll be back tomorrow with a podcast interview and an identity reveal of Horns Up Graphics, famous Instagram guy, and he's awesome and Rams fan. So once again, just stay tuned because we're going to keep throwing these at you, and hopefully you'll keep liking them. But thanks again, guys. Take care. Hello, listeners. Do you have a local business in or near Los Angeles? Are you trying to promote that said local business? Well, the Downtown Rams podcast is open to any and all business sponsorships. For details and any inquiries, please contact us at downtownrams@gmail.com, or you can direct message us on any social media platform that we currently use. Horns up.